sending out my first like four-figure invoices was just shocking, but so exciting. And TCA helped me to have the confidence to do that. The reason that I chose the Craft Academy was, first of all, the coaching calls. Being able to have conversations with this amazing community, that was just amazing to know that that was there. I felt like in a small town, I was lacking that community, but also lifetime access. So having those modules, being able to work at my own pace, it's always important to just be on your A game, because you never know who is watching and who's out there looking at your website or your social media. There's always new opportunities, and being willing to entertain those.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited because I have Lindsey here from LWells Designs. I'm so excited to have you. Hi, Lindsey.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's wonderful. I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me. So it's an honor.
Of course. I'm so excited to dive into your story. I think your story is so unique and amazing. That I know it will start to inspire so many calligraphers around the world to potentially start their own businesses and scale it as well. So hello, everyone. If we haven't met yet, my name is Rosie. I'm the calligrapher behind Wondercrafter and the founder of the Craft Academy. We help calligraphers create, automate, and scale their calligraphy businesses based on their unique story and methodology. When I started my business in 2017, I've made so many mistakes and wasted so much time and money trying to figure things out on my own. So after being able to work with amazing dream brands like Dior, NBC, and Ferrari, I'm now on a mission to help calligraphers just like you build their own dream brands and accelerate their path to success. So of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of these fun and educational videos just like this. And for today's interview, we have the incredible story of Lindsey, who actually used our methodology to transform her calligraphy business from 0 to now 5 figures. She is making some transitional changes now, so I'm excited to talk to her about that, and I'll let her tell the story. But prior to the Craft Academy, Lindsey was making little to no income, and after joining TCA in August of 2022, she's actually been able to hit 5 figures this year already. It's only October, and she's been able to work with amazing brands like Victoria's Secret, Nordstrom's, and even some local wineries and weddings. So Lindsey, welcome! So excited to have you.
Yay, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. So the first question I wanted to ask you is, what is your CEO story and what your journey to entrepreneurship was like?
So with calligraphy, it's always been a part of my life from one point to another. My mom was doing broad nib calligraphy when I was a child, to painting murals in my classroom when I was a math teacher. And in 2016, I started making home decor. I had friends who were like, "You're so artistic. Why don't you make this into a business?" And so I did. And so I had a lot of encouragement. And, you know, I loved that. I loved serving those people, but it was just really hard to continue with an inventory. I transitioned to teaching classes, which I love to do as a past math teacher. I love teaching. And then I did some wedding signage, but I wasn't really finding joy in all of those routes. So I knew that I needed something new and something to kick my butt into gear. So TCA.
Absolutely. So what does your business look like nowadays? Like, what's your specialty?
So right now, my focus is on live events. So with calligraphy, engraving, I just added foiling and pyrography as well. So I'm really excited to add those into the repertoire. But I also teach workshops locally as well with the modern calligraphy with brush pens.
Yes, I love that. And I know you are also working in a wedding venue, correct?
Yes. So
How
right
does
now,
that like blend with your calligraphy business?
So right now, I work full-time as an office manager at a local wedding venue, and I love it. I love what I do. I've actually gotten quite a few wedding signage projects from those brides, those couples. And I also partner with another venue to go to their open house, and I've done some favor engraving for a wedding, which was amazing. I love doing that and serving the couple, but also their guests as well. So I've been able to merge the two seamlessly.
Yes, I love that. And for anyone who's watching who feels like these live events or luxury brands might not be as prevalent in your area, weddings are literally everywhere. And if Lindsey can do it and sell it, then you can absolutely do it too. Like I've also done 1 or 2 weddings in my day, and it's so much fun. Like the guests are super fun. It's super low key, low pressure, and everyone just loves it, right? So it's such a perfect way to like bring calligraphy, engraving, or live events to your area, even if it's not as prevalent as like LA.
Yes, absolutely. So living in central Ohio, which is not quite as, prevalent with those influencer events as LA or whatnot, the wedding industry is pretty big here. So there's lots of beautiful venues and planners to work with. So that's something in the future that I'm looking to kind of go into more as well. So reaching out to diversify and do new things too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So let's get a quick summary of your timeline. When did you join the Craft Academy and when did you start seeing results?
So I joined the Craft Academy in August of 2022. So just over a year ago. And I would say I saw results very quickly. I dove into the first modules, looking at mindset and looking at setting goals. It was so important because it's not something I had really done before. And even by November, I had booked my first on-site event, and that was through a referral from another TCA member. And so even just having that community was so important to me. And yeah, I saw results right away.
I love that. That makes me so happy to hear. What was your favorite transformation in those first couple of months?
I think going back to that mindset was so important. So shifting from a scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset, looking at where I am, looking at the clients, doing the market research, and just knowing who it is that I'm trying to serve, trying to find the ideal client was so huge for me. And, I'm still working on that. It's a progress. It's, a journey as I go through this, but knowing that I don't have to do this alone, it's important to make connections with other calligraphers, looking at calligraphers in the area and not feeling like there's not enough work for all of us. There's plenty of work. And as we all grow our businesses, we can, bring that industry up all together. So that's been huge for me, is just that abundance mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Having the abundance mindset along with the community makes a huge difference in your business. Just having the confidence to like charge a certain number, even if you're in a smaller town like Columbus. I think that's super important in just having that in your background and having people in your corner supporting you and knowing that you are in line with everyone else in the community and that you're all charging the same rate. So we uplift the entire industry together.
Yes, absolutely. And when I started and I was just doing wood, home decor, I felt like I couldn't charge like anything for that. And so originally I wasn't making a lot of money because I was charging very little. I didn't know my worth, or I wasn't charging what that could be. But knowing what those numbers should be and can be has been just a game changer for me.
Yeah, I remember when we first talked, because you didn't enroll in the Craft Academy the first time we talked, and I remember you doing those wooden signs and things and saying that you were really frustrated with kind of the growth of your business. You weren't really enjoying making the signs and you weren't really making a lot of money from it either. So that's a really important lesson to take forward, in that you want to be passionate about what you're doing. Don't just do things because the market is telling you to do so.
Yes, it took me a little while to join TCA. Yes, I wasn't quite ready at that first conversation, but I always had it tucked in the back of my head. You give relevant and important information for me that it just took me a while to get to realize this is something that I need. And it really just made a difference to the business, being able to scale it and really just narrow in on my niche and what it is that I want to do.
100%. So speaking of wooden signs and things, what did your life and schedule look like when you first started LWells Designs?
So when I started my business in 2016, I was working a lot of long hours at my full-time job, and I didn't have the time to really commit to my business. So I was working on these wood signs. I didn't have a website. It was all word of mouth, and I was just letting clients come to me. So it wasn't actively pitching like I'm doing now, trying to find those ideal clients. It was a big struggle when I just started trying to do it on my own without any help.
Yeah. And what did your income look like during those first 5 years?
Let's just say I probably made like somewhere between $300 to $500 per year.
Okay. So it's good to have like a starting point and knowing how much you did make in the first couple of years by yourself. And now knowing that you're about to hit, you're in the 5 figures now, which is just simply amazing. Like just from simple math, if you made 10K this year compared to like the 500, that's what, 20xing your income already just from like the program, which I think is major. And, we try to be pretty sensitive about like the numbers and stuff. So I don't actually know how much Lindsey's made. We just know that she's in the 5-figure mark, and I'm pretty sure it's in the higher, So we want to be, sensitive to what the artist is willing to share. But just doing that like low 5 figures, that's still 20xing your income, which I still think is major. And I'm super happy for you, Lindsey.
So much. So amazing this year. Just sending out my first like 4-figure invoices was just shocking, but so exciting. And TCA helped me to have the confidence to do that based on my skills. So
yeah, isn't that amazing to like know that you can send out a 4-figure invoice and people are willing to pay it, and that's like more than you ever thought you could make in a year?
Yes, compared to being scared to send out a $50 invoice for a wood sign. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that gave me chills. I'm really happy. Hey, thank you so much for sharing what your history looked like. I know that may not have been easy for you to share considering your income was a little bit lower at that time, but it's always good to know where you started, where you've been, and now where you can go. I think that's super huge. So what were the goals for your business back then, and what did you want your life to look like?
To be honest, I really didn't have goals set, which I think was the biggest problem for me. I didn't have a vision. It was just people telling me, you're great at this, why don't you do it? So I did. So not having goals really kept me down because I couldn't try to reach those because I didn't know what they were.
So tell us how you ended up finding the Craft Academy and why you decided to invest in yourself and your business, even though you were only making about $500 a year.
So I started following Rosie on Instagram and just loved what you were doing. We did have that initial conversation, and I think it took about a year for me then to come back and join the Craft Academy. But at that point, it had been, 5 years of just striving and not getting anything. And so I was at this crossroads. It was either I just need to quit, I just need to stop, or I really need to dive in and invest. And so I decided to, try the confidence route. Let's just stick firm in looking at, okay, I can do this and have that confidence in myself. So I decided to invest and go for it. And I'm so excited. Here I am. So look at it all.
Here you are. Life looks so different compared to last year.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you feel like the Craft Academy was a good course to invest in compared to like some of the other courses that you've seen?
Well, the reason that I chose the Craft Academy was, first of all, the coaching calls. Being able to have conversations with this amazing community, hearing from you, Rosie, and other coaches as well. That was just amazing to know that was there. I felt like in a small town, I was lacking that community. I didn't really know other calligraphers. So the coaching calls, the Facebook group, I would say that is the number one biggest thing that really sold me on the Craft Academy, but also lifetime access. So having those modules, being able to work at my own pace and just being able to go back to them and not, oh, it expires in 30 days. I have time and I can still work at that at my own pace.
Yeah. And I know, with life, there's different seasons, right? There's seasons where you want to rest, seasons where you want to work, seasons where your other job might be pulling more time and attention from you. So it's always good to have like the lifetime access to it. And even just jumping back in after a hiatus, it feels like you've never left. We welcome you back with open arms. We get started right where you left off. So it's just been a really great experience having you. You said it's lifetime access, so like we're literally going to be together forever. So, this is just the beginning for you. So let's fast forward to you now in the Craft Academy. What was the biggest change that you made with your business that propelled it forward?
I think this goes back to talking about goals, just being able to set goals for myself. I know in the first module, we talk about, finding your vision, that North Star, also writing a 90-day letter. Like, let's look at what do I want to accomplish in, the next 3 months. So setting goals really helped propel me forward and able to go back to those as well. So anytime I feel, any lack of self-confidence or doubt, just going back to, what were my goals? Am I on track? And what have I already done? What are the accomplishments that I've already had?
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. So one thing that I wanted to talk about today is you hitting your biggest invoice ever. We won't say the number, but let's just say it's in the mid to high four-figure invoice. So tell us more about that. So we love tactical information. We want to know how you got the lead, how you negotiated things. I know there was travel, hotel involved, and how you got to your highest invoice ever. So tell us more about that job that you just completed.
Yes, so I just got back from this job last week, and I was engraving trophies, national championship trophies, out of state. And so there was travel, there was hotel that was involved with that. And they found me through my website. And so, the Craft Academy with those SEO pointers on key. So important, because they were an ideal client that I didn't even know about. And they reached out to me via my website. And so we had an initial conversation on the phone looking at, what are the details? What are the expectations that they have? And then I was able to put together a proposal. And so this was awesome. I was able to include hotel and mileage with this. And so that's something that I would have never thought about before including. We talked about the differences of whether it's a cost per trophy versus an hourly rate. I ended up going with an hourly rate based on a coaching call and talking about what that would look like since every trophy was different. And with that, I sent the proposal. They agreed to it. We had another meeting and I sent a large invoice and contract, and they signed and paid the deposit right away. So it was so amazing. I had such good guidance and wouldn't have been able to do that without our coaching calls. And had so much fun engraving on these amazing, exquisite works of art with these trophies.
You were the work of art, Lindsey. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that, because I know the first time you brought it up, this was like months ago. So this has been in the works for quite some time. And I know people are going to be asking this, but so how did you figure out how many hours it would take you to engrave? And did it take you a day, 2 days? Like, how did you anticipate how much time it would take?
So good question. So with this specific client, there are lots of trophies to engrave. And so we actually decided that I would come down for a certain number of days and engrave, what I was able to get done within that amount of time. So there's still more to be engraved. So the exciting part is that this partnership isn't done. The list is to go back and engrave more. So that was part of our conversation, was setting those expectations of knowing like, hey, we know you're not going to engrave all of these while you're here. But we set a certain amount of days and I went down to engrave for that.
That's super cool. Okay, so there's more to come. So this mid 4-figure invoice can go up there and hit a 5-figure invoice maybe in total. So excited to hear more about that, since it's a developing story. How did you do like the font matching? Because we'll drop some pictures in here so you can see that, but it was incredible. She did sans serif. She matched the font that was already on the trophies that I think were machine engraved.
Some of the trophies were machine engraved. Others were done by hand by jewelers, and so they were actually like chiseling out on the trophy. So I loved seeing all the past artwork that was there too. With the trophies, they initially just said in the inquiry, it's like a Times New Roman font. So I did a lot of study onto serif letter forms as well as sans serif, and took a lot of time beforehand to prepare, to practice, and just look at those letter forms, how to form them. I created processes for myself so that when I got there, I could be most efficient. And that way it was, a good use of their time and money to have me there. But I really enjoyed being able to do that. And it was a challenge, but I loved the puzzle.
Yeah, I don't think I could have been able to do that. Yeah. Oh my God, you're such a nerd. I love it. Because you were a math teacher, and it's super cool that you're able to like combine your math history and brain to do such a massive project like this and combine it with calligraphy, which I think is really amazing.
Thank you. Yes, I used to be a middle school math teacher, and in past jobs, office jobs, I was like the logistics queen. So I was looking at, these puzzles and how to make them work. So I really enjoyed with the trophies, having to measure and see, okay, how tall are the entries that are on there? What does the size need to be in between the entries, and measuring it all out? It was just such a joy for me.
Yeah, I can see the happiness in your face when you talk about this. So I'm excited that you get to go back and redo it and relive this. So share with the audience what learning lessons you came from this project.
It's always important to just be on your A game, because you never know who is watching and who's out there looking at your website or your social media. Because like I had said with this client, I didn't even know that they were out there, but they are my ideal client. I loved working for them. I loved doing the live events, but I really enjoyed working in the studio on these projects too. So just being always cognizant of there's always new opportunities and being willing to entertain those.
Yeah, I think just being really conscious about not closing yourself off to some of these opportunities just because you haven't seen it being done online or, in the past, doesn't mean it's not possible for you. So I think your lesson and your story is really important in demonstrating that, in that you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to be out there that you might love working, like companies you've never heard of, events you've never heard of. And there's so many opportunities out there that you need to open yourself up to these opportunities. And it ultimately comes down to mindset, right? And like being open to that.
Yes, absolutely. Especially living in a small town, not being, in a big city. It was important to me to be able to diversify, to find new, avenues to go down. So just having that open mind has been so important.
Yeah, amazing. Cool. So I think we're getting close to the end of this interview, and this has just been simply amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I know we've talked about a lot of tactical advice already with your 4-figure invoice. But let's do a couple more pieces of nuggets for our audience. What other tactical advice would you give to someone who might be thinking about starting their own business?
Well, there's no time like the present. So start now. It's important to just take a step. It doesn't have to be something huge, but just taking that step forward into, what you want to do. So researching, finding out what the industry is that you're trying to be a part of, looking at the market, who are your ideal clients, but what do you love too? That's so important. You want to fit both of those together and just start. Don't be afraid, because you just take that step in the direction that you want to go, and it's going to snowball into getting you where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. What was like the number one thing that kept you from investing the first time, but changed your mind the second time?
So really at that point, I was working like 60 hours a week. I just didn't have time. I loved the job that I was working, so it was hard to step away. I know there's so many people that are like, I hate my job and I just want to quit and I want to go full time, but I loved what I was doing. So it was hard to step away, but I ended up changing jobs and had a more flexible schedule and was able to actually do more calligraphy and art in my free time. And I really enjoyed that. So I really wanted to take that time and invest in that.
Yeah, amazing. And, sometimes you have to get to like the right position, the right timing to invest in yourself and in your business. And I think it was perfect timing for the both of us because, we when we first talked, I think the Craft Academy had just been created, and I don't know if we were ready for, more people yet. But since you have joined, it's been reiterated a couple of times, and I think it is more up to date, and we're going for one more iteration very, very soon. So it's a program that continues to be updated based on our community and what their needs are. So where do you see LWells going, and how can we continue helping you achieving those goals?
Yes. So the exciting news is starting January 2024, I'm actually going full time with LWells Designs. So
Yay.
I'm really excited to be able to work with new clients and branch out and find new avenues for this. So I just know that, I'm going to be doing something new, which is really exciting, but a little nerve-wracking, but I just need to make sure to see it with a positive, excitement and a challenge to a puzzle to be solved. So really
love it. Last couple of questions for you. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about investing in themselves?
Well, first you got to weigh the pros and cons to everything that you're doing, but just try something new, because you have to start now. You have to get outside of your comfort zone, because you can only try the same thing, a certain number of times before you realize, what am I doing? So try something new, step outside of your comfort zone, because that's where the growth happens, is outside of what you've always done. So go for it. And, if there's a stumble, it's only a failure if you don't learn anything from it. So go for it. Take the risk.
Love it. Love it. Amazing pieces of advice. Following that, what would you tell a calligrapher who is also in a small area, who's looking to bring or build their calligraphy business in somewhat of a newer area?
I think it's really important to research the market, to research the industry. So looking at who are you trying to serve is so important, because if you're trying to sell, a service and there's nobody that needs it, then it's not really going to go anywhere. So look at where you are, look at what's needed, but also, again, look at what do you love to do. And there's going to be, somebody, lots of people out there who need what you do in their lives. So merging those two together are really important to get started in an area that's new with calligraphy or art forms.
Yeah, exactly. So last question that I ask everyone, what would you tell yourself in 2016, knowing what you know now?
I would say just go for it. Don't be afraid, because fear is just going to hold you back. So be confident in who you are, who you've been made to be. Yeah, and just go for it.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Lindsey. That was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story. I think your story is so inspirational, and knowing that you've had, turned your business from 500 into 5 figures in about a year now, actually. I think that is such an amazing experience and transformation. It's been a pleasure having the front row seats in your journey, and just knowing all of the trials and tribulations that you've been through and seeing where you are now. It makes me literally so happy. Like, my heart is so full.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Rosie. You're amazing. And the whole team, the whole community is just awesome. I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Thank you, Lindsey. Cool. So in closing today's interview, I've known and mentored Lindsey for a little over a year now. I'm so proud of the growth that she's experienced working with amazing brands like Victoria's Secret, and really just building up the local calligraphy business in her area. For anyone who hasn't heard of the Craft Academy yet, it is a step-by-step coaching program where you can go from 0 clients and an expensive hobby to working with your dream clients and now building the business of your dreams. It has all the templates for pitches, emails, brand decks, lookbooks, contracts, literally anything that you need to build your business, we provide for you so that you can really start living the life that you have designed for yourself. We're here to prove to you that our methods work in even small areas like Columbus, Ohio. So please follow in Lindsey's footsteps and join the team. If this interview resonated with you and you want this transformation for yourself, all you have to do is book a call with me or my team. Go to wandercrafter.com/apply. We'll help you build your side hustle, or even transform your side hustle into a full-time hustle, whatever your goals are with your business. We want to help you, and we'd love to connect. Until then, make sure to subscribe and like and comment on the video. Thank you so much, Lindsey. We love you so much. Can't wait to see what is next for you.
Thank you.
Bye.